Um, so, so primarily, what I was thinking in past few weeks is that poetry is a form of witness. It's a form of record which registers what is happening in the society. And I think poetry is something which records history in a very unique fashion, so to speak. And as an astronomer, I think I can say something in a very different perspective that, like poetry, which bears witness to whatever times that we go through, the, I I think science does the same in a different paradigm where we see history of science. We observe that there are concepts and technologies developing over time, which, by the nature of their existence, define uh, the times that they were born in. They do define the nature of the times, and by doing so, they also serve as a record, a historical record, as a witness of the times that they were born in. Uh, I see that the technology that develops, be it the 21st century or the 20th century, so to speak, or maybe some um, other time, it's a different thing to look at. But whatever uh, develops as a dead song, uh, which sings the times in which they are born. Hmm. Uh, uh, Now, why do I say it's a dead song? Because when we look at something like nuclear controlled nuclear reaction, when we look at the birth of the idea, we do see that the birth of the idea of controlled nuclear energy bears witness to the atrocities of the times that it was born in. And even for science, the times have been very unusual. And when we look at history of human civilization and uh, how science has evolved over time, we do see something extremely strange. Like poetry, science has served as an act of rebellion against the conventional forces. Science has fought totalitarians. Science has fought orthodox concepts. Science has fought atrocities of the times, be it the medieval ages, be it war era, uh, be it times of genocides, be it any irrational, conventional, orthodox mode of civilizational evolution. And I think that is something which I would call as a notion of witness, where every n- every axiom of scientific thought, every idea which came out of those times acted as a witness of suppression, as a witness of negation. And most of the people who came with these outrageous notions in their respective times, of course, they did not survive those times. They they were killed, they were defamed, they were bad mouthed. Uh, but uh, what survived later on, their ideas, they are witness to the history of that particular era that from which they come from. Uh, for instance, you can take an example, say, of Galileo. Um, then there's so, Lebanese, for that matter, Wittgenstein, uh, Russell, Albert Einstein, Godel, Besson, Henri Besson, people like Gilles Deleuze, uh, for that matter. So these are the people who are bringing outstanding notions. Immanuel Kant, uh, and they were fighting the men of their own times who thought that these people are crazy and these people uh, are thinking which should not be thought about. And I think I find a very strange correlation between poetry and science when it comes to their function in the society. What I primarily believe that, of course, most of us do agree. I'm sorry for those who don't. Uh, most of us agree that science saves us both from death and from life. And I think poetry has the similar role to play. It's so interesting that the formulations of both poetry and society, their place in society, their function, their intellectual and social function, the spheres that they come from. It is very, I think it's noteworthy to uh, see that both poetry and science exist in social sphere. They don't exist in only in mind or uh, or maybe in the spiritual realm or someplace else. They exist here and now. They have verifiable physical outcomes. They have uh, tangible social manifestations. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about how human thought, uh, be it something as sophisticated as poetry or as science, uh, have so many interesting similarities. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.